training camp. You might find some parts hard to believe, but every word is true. Back in middle school, despite my athletic build, I was a member of the brass band. Out of about 40 members, only 3 or 4 of us were boys, and I played the clarinet. When summer break came, we were set for a week-long training camp at a lodge in the mountains to prepare for the state competition. The lodge had no air conditioning, and the stifling heat was unbearable. Plus, insects would constantly sneak in through the windows, making the environment quite miserable. Still, we were determined to perform well at the competition, so we endured and practiced hard. Then, on the 5th night of camp, the horrifying incident occurred. After finishing our evening practice, all the members decided to go fireworks at a nearby lake. However, my friend Saki insisted she didn't want to go because of the bugs, so we reluctantly left her behind. As Aki and Kei and I walked toward the lake, Aki suddenly suggested we should go back for Saki. When we returned to the lodge, Aki went to Saki's room to call her, but she wasn't there. We split up and searched the lodge, but Saki was nowhere to be found. Thinking she might have crossed paths with us, we headed back to the lake. Upon arriving, the fireworks were already starting. We looked for Saki again, but she was still missing. When we told our instructor about Saki's disappearance, he confirmed she had been there just moments ago. I found it a bit strange, but for now we decided to search around the lake. As we approached the boat dock, I casually glanced across the water and saw someone standing at the lakeshore who looked like Saki. "Hey Saki!" Aki and Kei shouted, but she didn't respond. I squinted to get a better look, but the distance and darkness made it hard to see clearly. Then, with a loud bang from a firework lighting up the night sky, we were horrified by what we saw. It was indeed Saki. I recognized her white dress instantly, but her face was horrifically mangled. Covered in blood, her features were unrecognizable. I couldn't even tell if it was really a face at all. It looked as if someone had ground it to a pulp. "No!" Aki screamed. Kei trembled, tears streaming down her cheeks. Saki stared at us with her distorted face, her eyes completely gone, as if she no longer existed. Even without a face, I could tell she was looking at us. In that moment, paralyzed by fear, I bolted into the woods, leaving the 2 girls by the lake. I ran, trying to erase the terror from my mind, and I reached the spot where everyone was enjoying the fireworks in less than 5 minutes. My mind was in a daze, and even now I can't recall what I told everyone when I got back. Once I calmed down a bit, I remembered I had left Aki and Kei at the boat dock. I shared this, and we all went to search for them. While many of the members joked and were skeptical, our instructor had a serious expression on his face. When one of the members asked him, "What happened to Saki?" he replied lightly, trying to ease the tension, "She's probably fine. I mean, how could a face be that mangled, right? Haha." But his smile didn't reach his eyes. We scoured the area by the lake, but Saki was nowhere to be found. Instead, we discovered Aki and Kei collapsed at the boat dock. Since it was late, we returned to the lodge, still clueless about Saki's fate. The next day, our instructor called the police, who searched the area. Unbelievably, they found Saki's body at the bottom of the lake near the dock. For some reason, her head had been severed cleanly, as if cut off by a sharp blade. Most of the members were in shock and began to cry. The police had a few questions for us, and when they asked where we had last seen Saki, most of us said it was at the lodge, while 5, including our instructor, said we had seen her by the lake during the fireworks. However, none of us had spoken to her directly. We only saw her silhouette. The camp was called off, and we returned to school on the bus, all of us feeling uneasy and disbanded. The police continued to investigate the incident as a murder case, but ultimately found nothing, and the truth remained a mystery. Aki and Kei, unable to cope with the trauma, didn't return to school or even the band after summer break. One day, the instructor called me and shared something chilling. That night, while the fireworks were going off, he had seen Saki's figure, but then lost sight of her. A while later, he spotted her again on the opposite shore. At that time, illuminated by the fireworks, he thought it might be a trick of the light, but Saki's face was painted red, as if doused in blood.